right there, EP Latin, here we go. I'm going to put 2 sentences up on the board for you to copy down. So, copy these sentences exactly as they are written. Every single word, every single letter. Pause it. All right, now we're going to figure out how to elide this, okay? So I'm going to get out a pen, and we're going to do this together. So take a look what you have written down there, okay? The first thing you're always going to do is take care of the very last syllable, because that's an X. You can just write an X. So we're going to do that first line first. So we're going to do a who cares. Now, every single time you have a dactylic hexameter line, that last word is going to end with long who cares. So we know that the A in kawata is long. And then we are going to put a line there and label it as number 6. You do the same. Now, I always work backwards when I do my scansion. Other people don't. But the other thing I do is I always look, okay? I always look at essentially where my long syllables are. So I look for ones that are long by nature, or not by nature, long by position first. I get all of those out of the way. Because if I can get all of those out of the way, almost everything else falls into place. So I start at the beginning, and I know that the very first one, because if you look, a spondy or a dactyl always starts with long. So I know that the very first one is going to be long. Now I also know that EM followed by an I, that's going to be an elision. So I need to look over here. This is an N and this is a C, which means that I is long, which means that E is long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw like that. So that's foot number 1. Now I look at the very next vowel and my fingers have erased that. Now there's an O, and it's followed by 2 consonants. So I know that that's going to be long. And then I look at the next vowel, and I notice that it's followed by an X. I know that that's going to be long. So we just started this thing with 2 spondies. I also know that the very next one is the beginning of a new foot, so I know that that has to be long, which now has told me that in fact that is a dative or a ablative. And since it's preceded by the word in, I know that it's ablative. So Scansion just told me that it's ablative. Now, the next one, I don't know if that's going to be long or short, so I'm going to leave it alone. I don't know if this one's going to be long or short, but I have a suspicion because of nature, but I don't want to spoil it. Now, this one is followed by an M, but there's no vowel there. So this one I know is going to be long because it's followed by 2 consonants. I also know that the U in sub is going to be long because BR. However, okay, that is a muted and that is a liquid. So I'm not going to commit to that being long yet, okay? Now this is a U followed by a consonant followed by, okay, so we don't know the rest from here. We could conceivably figure out what some of them will be. We know that the E in rupe, this is sub rupe, so rupe is ablative of the third, and ablatives of the third are short. So I know that by nature, which means if that is short, a short must be followed by another short, right? So I know that that is now short. And most 5th feet actually are short, are long, short, short. So you actually can see that that is in fact long, short, short. Now I also know, I've just confirmed that this will be a long one because you've got this one and then only one left. You can't have long, short and let it end. So we now know that it's long, short, or long, long. And then we know that the last one ended with a long, so we know that the O is long, confirming what I already knew actually, because that's long by nature. But I don't trust nature, so I wanted to check. So that one's going to be long. So we've got another, okay, so 4 and 3. And then Oh, that won't work actually. And here's the fun thing you can do with Scansion is you kind of have to throw some stuff against the wall and see if it works. So I know that the E in Nemo is long by nature. Klassen convex o Nemo. Oh, that's what happened. All right, so that's gonna be long. Yeah, that's got to be long. Short, short. All right, there we go. So, turns out I was wrong in my assumption there. Okay, so those are both long because this is a U before an MS, and that has to be long. And then the other one is before a BR, so that's going to be long because it also, you had a long, and there's only one left. And for the third foot, it started with a long, and then you only had 2 syllables left, so you knew it was long, short, short. Let's do the next one, okay? Cui mater media se tulit, I think is it, obvia silva, okay? So first thing we know is the silva, that's going to be ablative because it's a who cares. And we also know that the I in silva is long because there's an LV next to each other. Then that is going to be a double, okay? So then we need to go through, we know that cui, the I, is long because it starts, right? Because the CU is a digraph that doesn't count. So cui mater media se tulit obvia. So now we got to find all the other ones where it is long by position. So look for ones that are long by position. There are hardly any. Okay, mater. The R is going to be long by position, which means then that the A in mater has to be long. And then we can figure these things out. Now there's a thing that I learned a trick is this. The I before an A, for instance, in media, the I before a vowel is always going to be short, media, okay? So I know that that is short. And that means the med is short, because mater, okay? Which means that that A is long because it starts a new foot, which means that's ablative. We just figured that out, okay? And then we have to figure our way through this. Well, I already also figured out, oh, there is one more that's long because of position. That's the O in obvia, okay? And we know that the I is going to be short. And the odds are, if it's a long short, that means you've got a long short short. So that's the 5th foot. So now we just got to figure out how this 3rd and 4th foot exist. Okay? I say throw stuff against the wall and see what works. I notice that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 to go. So you're going to have essentially 1 spondy and 1 dactyl. I know that say is usually going to be long, so we'll make that long. Make that the 3rd, and then short, short. And it worked. What I want you to do is find random lines in Virgil. Write them down, scan them, and then send them to me. And we can work them out together. Send me about 3 lines that you've scanned. Send me one that you know you're sure of, and send me 2 that you're not so sure of. All right? I'm going to hit the button.